On page 235 in your book, y'all found the slope. Yes? What was the slope? 2/3. Okay. And where did it cross the y-axis? At 0. So, our equation of this line was what? Yeah. Y equals 2/3 times x plus 0. Because it's just crossing the origin. So y equals 2/3 x plus 0. Turn the page. What was the difference? What was different about the one and number 2? The what? The y-intercept was different, but was the slope different? No. Okay. And then what about number 3? Same thing. The y-intercept was what? Different, but the slope was not. Right? Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to think about that. Look at those 3 problems again. And I want you to determine something about our lines. Determine something about our lines. What do you notice?
It's moving.
It's moving. Okay, what do you wonder? How is it all the same? Okay, any other wonders? Anybody? Any other wonders? Go ahead and graph these 2 equations. On your line. Graph these 2 equations. What do y'all notice about these 2 lines? I'm sorry? They're similar. Okay. What else? Jordan? A y coordinate of 5? What you mean? Carter, you know? I'll give you a clue. Somebody go to the top of the page. You want to move? You move? Again, you can move. You want to move right here? Where did you get that idea? What does the top of the page say? Huh. So, can somebody read me the what are we going to do today? Today we will what? Different y-intercept. Okay, we're going to determine whether equations are the same lines, or we're going to determine if our lines are going to be parallel because they're going to have the same slope, or they're going to have what? Turn the page, please. What do parallel lines tell us? So lines L and N are parallel, and triangle PQR is a slope triangle for line L. And they want us to choose a point on T on line N. And we want to, so I want everybody to choose a point on line N. What's true about the translation, about the image of line L under a translation along QT? So, remember the line, the translation means that it's going this way. So if we were to take this line right here and move it down, what would we notice? So, this line right here, we moved it down, what do you notice? It's the same line. Okay, so we can state that if we had a triangle that our triangle is moving from here to here. Would you agree? We're sliding our triangle down. What does this tell us about the relationship between lines L and N? The slope is the same. So if two lines, look at F, if two lines are parallel, then they have what? Same slope. But what else do they have? They have the same what? Same slope. Okay, turn the page. I want you to work on this problem, and then we're going to do a turn and talk. Okay, turn the page. For problems 4 through 6, we're going to determine whether lines L and N are parallel from the given representations. So, for number 4, what representations do we have? A what for line L? What representation is this? A graph. And what about line N? A graph. And we're trying to figure out whether they are parallel from our representations. What are we trying to figure out? If they're parallel. What do we need to use to figure out if they're parallel? Slope. Okay, so go. See if the slope is similar. What did y'all determine? What's the slope of line L? Who agrees? Okay, and what's the slope of line N? So, are they parallel? How do you know? Same slope. What's different about them? Okay, this one is at -4, and this one is at +5. Okay, so everybody look at number 5. What representation is this? A graph. And what kind of representation is this? An equation. Okay, so ready? Go. Okay, so what did we figure out the slope of this one was? -1/2. And what's its y-intercept? 5. Okay, so our equation for this line would be what? Okay, is this and this going to make a parallel line? Class? Why not? Okay, and so how many solutions do these two problems have? Just a question. How many solutions do they have? What would determine that? Okay, so a solution to a problem would explain, remember whenever we were doing the equations and we were trying to figure out if the solutions were one, none, or all? So, one solution All solutions, no solutions. So, how many solutions do you think that these two lines have in relationship to each other? Why do you want to say one? Joel says one. Anybody else? You think one too, Cooper? Okay. Anybody else? One, none, or all. Those are your three options. How many solutions do these have? Why are you saying none, Cooper? Okay, so what does it mean, a solution on a graph? Go a little deeper just for a second. What does it mean, a solution on a graph? Y'all are saying one solution. Y'all think one answer is going to make both of these true? Yes? And y'all are saying none for this one? Well, what would constitute for all solutions? What would it look like then? Same what? It'd be the same line, right? Same slope, y-intercept. So Joel's saying that all solutions would be same line with the same slope and the same y-intercept. These were saying that it only has what? One solution, and these were saying it has how many solutions? None. Can I tell you why? Now that we kind of like talked about it. Parallel lines are always what? Not touching. They will never, ever, ever touch. No matter how you move them. They're never going to touch. That means that there are no intersections of the first line and the second line. A solution on a graph is when two lines intersect. So let's look at it. In this case, this line is right here. It is an intersection of, it never intercepts the other line. I'm cheating. It never intercepts. It's always going to be, they're just going to run next to each other for the rest of their lives. So this would be no solutions. There's no answer that's ever going to make them true. This guy has this equation and this equation. Minus 3, up 1, over 2, up 1, over 2, up 1. Over 2, and we draw the line, and where do they meet in the middle? Right there. So that means that that's the solution of these two problems, of these two equations. That dot right here, it's inside. So 8, 1. So that means that the answer is going to be 8. That's what's going to make both of the equations equal each other. Then if we flip it and do the last one, let's look at number 6. I want you to go ahead and figure out number 6 for me. So you should have gotten that this line's equation is y equals 4 times the value of x plus 9. This equation is y equals 8 divided by 2 times x plus 9. Can I simplify this fraction? Yes, what's 8 divided by 2? 4. Y equals 4 times x plus 9. Jordan, what's your question?
How do you get the y-intercept from the...
When x is 0, it will give you your y-intercept. That's why I highlighted it. When x is 0, it's going to give you your y-intercept. Because let's look at it. Let's just look at a graph. Here's our graph, right? Where's x is 0 on our graph? Right here, right? And that means that it's going to run anywhere on this line. So when x is 0, it's going to tell you what your y value is going to be. Whatever your y value is your y-intercept. Does that make sense? So if I pick this point right here, that's 0, 9, that's my y-intercept. It's where it's crossing my y-axis. So what do you know about these two lines? They're the what kind of line? They're not parallel. Why are they not parallel? Because they're the same line. It's just one line. It's the same line. So y equals 4x plus 9 is the same thing as y equals 4x plus 9. So how many solutions is this one going to have? Infinite solutions. Because the line's laying right on top of the other line.
So if it's no solution, like they don't touch?
Yep, no solutions.
One solution,
They cross once.
and then if it's infinite, it's just one line.
It's just one line. Did you hear what she said? Can you explain it one more time? Because you explained it really well.
If there's no solution, it's two different lines.
Which we call those what kind of lines? Parallel lines.
With one solution, it's two lines crossing, and then if it's infinite, it's just one line.
It's just one line, and the line's laying like right on top of the other line. So it's going to be that all the answers for one line is going to be the same answers as the other one. Okay, so let's look at number 7. Number 7, it says they want us to write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form that is parallel to the line given. Okay, so they want us to write an equation of a line that's parallel to the one that they gave us. So what's the first thing that we have to find? The equation of this line. We need to know what this line is, right? Because you can't find another equation if you don't know this one. So, where do we start? We always start at the y-intercept. So where is it crossing? 0, -1. And what do we need to know next? Our slope. Okay, so we're going to start from our starting point and we're going to find another point. What do we know about our slope? It's what? It's negative. How do you know that? Because he's going down the mountain. So we're going down how many? And over how many? So we know that our slope is -2/3. We also know that our intercept is at what? -1. Okay, so ready? Let's write the equation of this line. Everybody? Tell me. Y equals -2/3 times x minus 1. Okay, now we need to write an equation of something that's parallel to this one. What do we need to change? Just the y-intercept. So give me an example. What do y'all want your line to be? 7. Perfect. Y equals, what do I do? plus 7. There you go. Now look at this representation. It's given to you as an equation. Those are the easiest. Why? Because all you need to do is change the y-intercept. So what's the slope of this line? 2.5. So can y'all give me an example of a line that would be parallel to this line? Y equals plus what? You want plus or minus? Raise your hand for plus. Raise your hand for minus. Try again. Raise your hand for plus. Okay, we're getting a plus. Okay, ready? Raise your hand if you want the number to be 1 through 10. 10 through 20. Okay, let's do a really, really ridiculous number. What number y'all want? Ridiculous number. 448. Is that going to be anywhere on our little itty bitty 10 by 10 graphs? No. But is it a parallel line? Yes. Why? Slope is the same. Y-intercept is different. Okay, cool. Here we go. Turn to page 329. We are skipping lesson 22. We're going into lesson 23. Okay, can somebody go to the recap of lesson 23 for me real quick? The recap. And read to me what the recap says about today we will, or what we learned. Read it louder, please.
In this lesson, we determined whether equations in different forms represent the same line.
Okay. Equations in different forms represent the same line. Okay. Real quick. Everybody pay attention. So, for our leak test, we do not need to know one of the forms that they're showing us, but I'm going to show it to you because you need to know how to move things around to make it into our slope-intercept form of a line. So, what I'm going to show you is we have standard form of a line, we have point slope form of a line, and we have slope intercept form of a line. We have 3 different forms of a line. But, so I don't confuse you, I'm going to show you what they are, and tomorrow I'm going to give you examples on how we're going to solve them to put them back into y-intercept form. But the only form that you really need to understand is y equals mx plus b. When you get to algebra, you're going to learn about point slope form, and we've already talked about standard form. You've already seen standard form. So at the bottom of the page, I'm just going to show you the 3, okay? It doesn't mean you have to memorize the 3. It just means I want you to recognize that there are 3 different ways that we can write the line, the equation of a line, okay? Are y'all okay with that? Okay, so slope, intercept, form equals y equals m, which is your slope, times the value of x plus your y-intercept. We should be okay with that one. Y'all seen this one too? ax plus by equals c. You remember that one? Where we were plugging in the value of x or plugging in the value of y to figure out what the other one was. The only one that you have not seen is point slope form. And this is what we're going to do with point slope form. We're going to use point slope form to solve for y equals mx plus b. So when they give us an equation that is in point slope form, I'm going to show you how to solve to make it so it's y equals mx plus b. Okay? So, point slope form of a line is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And it looks scary because it's a bunch of letters, but I'm going to show you how easy this is to be able to solve. Okay? All you have to do is distribute and then subtract or add. Okay? That's as simple as it is. You're just distributing and then moving something to the other side of the equation. But before we get into the lesson, I don't want y'all to freak out because we're going to use the information that we need to know in order to be able to solve for this. Ready? So, everybody look at number 1 for me. Number 1 is in what form? Let's figure out, let's recognize it. So look at your examples. It's in slope-intercept form. Okay, so slope-intercept form. That helps us to know that we're exactly where we need to be. So we can take this information right here from this equation and we can put it on our graph. Where would we start? The y-intercept. And what's our y-intercept? 4. So that means that we need to put a point on 0, 4. From this point, the song popped in my head, sorry. From this point, we're going to go where? Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. And we can just draw a line. Ta-da! Yes? Miss Barton's class is leaving us confused. Okay, ready? Oh, the spelling bee. Do you need a lead for that? You're doing it anyway. Okay, so everybody look at number 2. What form is this one in? Who agrees with Cooper? Point slope form. Okay. See how it looks way more crazy because it has a bunch more numbers and it looks kind of scary? Let's look. All we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we're going to put it in slope-intercept form and then we're going to graph our line. This is how we're going to do this. We're going to distribute. Step 1. Distribute. So I now have y minus 3 equals, what's 1/2 times x? 1/2 x. What's 1/2 times negative 2? Well, let's look. 1 times negative 2 is? 1 times negative 2 is? 1 times negative 2 is? Negative 2. 2 times 1. 2. Are we okay? Why are we having trouble? You multiply the numerator and the numerator, denominator and the denominator. Yes, sir. It's a positive? Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be negative. I wrote it wrong. Thank you for checking that. So a negative and a negative, that's going to make this positive. Good catch, Bentley. So now we have y minus 3 equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. What do we do to get this y by itself? Step 2 is, or they're going to add or subtract. So we are going to move this guy to the other side by using its opposite operation. In our case, we're going to do what? Opposite of subtraction is addition. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. What do you notice? It's a what? It's in slope-intercept form, but what do you notice? Saying what? It's the same line as the one before it. But do y'all see the difference? Can I show you a trick? I'll wait to show you the trick tomorrow. Sound good? We'll just keep doing this. Turn the page. Oh, what form is this one in? Standard form. Okay, so ready? This is in standard form. We want to put it back in slope-intercept form. What needs to be on the left side by itself? Y. The y needs to be over here by himself. I'm just writing this on the side so we can remember where we need to put things. Okay? So, what needs to move? The x. How do we move the x? Okay, what's in front of it? A positive sign. If there's no negative, it's positive. So how do we move it? If it's positive, how do we move it? So now we have 2y equals negative x plus 8. Why is Ms. Gode putting it in that order? Putting it in that order because we're trying to figure out slope-intercept. Here's our next step. 2 times y equals negative x plus 8. What do I need to get rid of? The 2. Why do we want to get rid of the 2? Because it's next to the y. We want y to be by itself. How do we get rid of the 2? We divide everything by 2. So if it's multiplied by 2, we divide by 2. Y equals. Go ahead and finish it for me. Okay, what did y'all get? Y equals what? Negative 1/2 times x plus 4. Where was our mistake? What's the number right next to that X? Our 1. And we would graph it the exact same way. 4 down 1 over 2. Any questions at the moment? Why did I divide by 2? Because what was attached to the y? A 2. By what? How is it attached? So what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. That's why you divide by 2. You do the opposite operation. Yes, sir?
Why did you divide the variable and number?
Because when you do what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So everything on that side has to be done. So if you divide this side by 2, everything on this side has to be divided by 2. I just separated it. So I could have written it like this. But what happens is your brain doesn't see it like that because you don't realize that you need to do both of them. So in order to make life easier on you, I do it this way. That way each thing gets divided by 2 and it's its own separate unit. Because what happens is here, this looks a lot scarier than this. Would y'all agree? This guy? Do you know that you need to do the x and the 8 whenever you look at this? But do you know that you have to do the x and the 8 when you do this? So whatever you do to one side, do to each term on the other side. So if you multiply both sides by 6, you have to multiply everything on that side by 6. You can't just multiply one thing, right? So that's why we divide it like that. Okay, ready? Let's look at number 4. What's it in? It's in the point slope form, okay? So it needs to be in slope intercept form. Ready? We're going to practice this more tomorrow. Ready? Y minus 3 equals negative 1/2 times x minus 2. What did Miss Goodey say was our first step? Distribute. What are we distributing? What are we distributing, class? Tell me. The what? The parentheses. So that means we have y minus 3 equals, what's negative 1/2 times x? And negative 1/2 times negative 2. Okay, so let's look. You have a negative 1/2 times negative 2 over 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 2. Now what? What needs to move? What needs to be by itself? The y needs to be by itself, so the 3 needs to move. Good job, Emily. So how do we move it? Plus. So opposite, it needs to move. It's just adding to the y-intercept. That's all it's doing. So we're adding 3 to both sides. Y equals negative 1/2 times x plus 4. Why are we doing the same problem over and over again? Ready? Same situation. I think it's the same problem. X plus 2y equals 8. We subtracted x. It is the same problem. 2y equals negative x plus 8. Are you okay if I go pretty quickly since we just did this problem? Divide by 2. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. It's the same problem we just did right here. Turn. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want to give you 5 minutes to work with your groups to answer, to write the given equations in slope-intercept form. So 5 minutes. Ready? You can work with a group. Go. Go. Someone? Good job, Cooper. Explain to everybody what you're doing when you're doing it, okay?
So
Now pay attention.
what I did was I literally just did this, subtracted 5x from both sides. Sorry, my handwriting is actually, and then I got y equals negative 5x plus 3 because there's no sign in front of that.
What did you get as you finally?
Y equals 5x, negative 5x plus 3.
We can't read that yet.
Yeah, I can read this.
Go ahead and somebody go do the next one. Go ahead, Amelie.
I don't know.
Come on, Amelie. Can you explain what you did?
I subtracted 8 from the y from both sides and got y equals negative 4x plus 0.
Okay. Do y'all agree with her? Yeah? Anybody disagree?
So you take 7, number 7 in the book has a 0 and then a line set. And I skipped all the tables that they have to run right now. Okay, well, that was the only reason I skipped. That's the only reason I skipped 8, yes, because I skipped that.
Can you
part.
fix it on the thing?
I did. Okay. That's all I realized.
Okay, who's gonna do the next one? Who's doing the next one? Come on. You need to work on your handwriting, bud. Okay, that's what.
Yeah, I didn't know you were.
I think it's y equals negative 3.
I thought it said -8. Yeah, and then we have to.
Okay, Veronica, come on. Can you explain why you're doing it?
So first you subtract 3x from the negative 12 to get like the y on the left side and the x on the right side. So it will be 4y is equal to negative 3x minus 12. And then you do, to get the y by itself, you divide by 4 to each of the numbers on the right side. So then you get y is equal to negative 3/4 x minus 3, because negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3.
Y'all understand? Y'all agree? Okay, who's doing the last one? Who's doing it?
So first you would distribute 1/4 to x.
She's distributing the 1/4. You gotta talk out of it out loud.
And then you get y plus 1 equals negative 1/4 x plus 7/4. And then you would subtract 1 from y on both sides, and you get y equals negative 1/4 x plus 1/4. Because 7/4 is 1/4.
Y'all agree or disagree? Okay, let's look at it. Let me see. Where are we? Okay. So, negative 1/4 times x is negative 1/4 x. Negative 1/4 times 7 is a negative 7/4. Okay, so y plus 1 equals negative 1/4 x minus 7/4. But then she did the right thing. She subtracted 1. So now you have negative 7 over 4 minus 1 over 1. That's the best way that I know how to do it. Times 4 times 4. Negative 7 over 4 minus 4 over 4. Negative 7 minus 4 is a negative, greater negative, so negative 11 over 4. So y equals negative 1 over 4 times x minus 11 over 4. How did I do on that one? You did okay? Okay, so let's look at the tables. We need to write an equation from the tables. Because we need to be able to write equations from tables. So what's the first thing that we need to look at? What's the first thing Ms. Goday looks at? If there's any x equals what? If x equals 0. Why do I do that? Because it tells me what my y-intercept. Okay, here we go. So my y-intercept for the first one is what? 8. That's my y-intercept. Now I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 8 minus 14 over 0 minus 8. I did that really weird. Sorry. 8 minus 14 over 0 minus a negative 9. I just took two y values. Here we go. 8 minus 14. 0 minus negative 9. 0 plus 9 is 9. So now you have a negative 6 over 9. Simplify that. Y equals negative 2 over 3, x plus 8. Who's a lid to my pen? Anybody?
Ryan's the lid.
Okay. I want to do a hard one with y'all. So, everybody look at number 8 in your homework. Oh no, that'll work. Okay, I lied. We'll do it right here. This is the one we're going to do. Go back. Page 331. Okay, they don't give you the y-intercept. There's no y-intercept. There is a y-intercept, but we gotta find it. I'm gonna show you how to do that, okay? And I have 5 minutes to do it. Yes? So, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Negative 6 minus a negative 2 over 21 minus 15. Are y'all okay with that one? Do y'all know where I'm pulling these numbers from? Do y'all see where I'm pulling them from? These are our x values, y, x comma y. Yes? Okay, cool. Negative 6 minus a negative 2 is going to be negative 6 plus 2, which is going to be a negative 4. 21 minus 15. 6? Yep. Good job. Okay, so let's simplify it. Negative 2 over 3. What happens? We have y equals negative 2 over 3x plus b. We don't know what b is. We're solving for b. b is a mystery. But we can find b by using an x and a y coordinate. So which x, y coordinate do y'all want to use? Pick one. It doesn't matter. This one? Okay, so we're gonna choose this one. That means that wherever the x is, we're gonna plug it in. Whatever the y is, we're gonna plug it in. So negative 6 equals negative 2 over 3 times 21 over 1 plus b. All I did was plug in value. That's all I did, right? So now we're going to solve for it. What's negative 21 times 2? Or sorry, negative 2 times 21? 42. Just putting that out there. Because 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 42. Okay. Negative 42. What's 3 times 1? What's negative 42 divided by 3? Guess what happens when I don't know math? I gotta do it. 3 fits in it there, down, 14 times. Woo-hoo! Okay, negative 6 equals negative 14 plus b. How do I get the b alone? Add it. You're adding 14 to both sides. What's negative 6 plus 14? 8. It's like a puzzle. It's so much fun. Okay, ready? So that means that y equals negative 2 over 3 times x plus 8. We just figured out the b. We omitted this one in your homework, but I did want you to know how to do it. So you're just solving for it. You're just plugging in a value and figuring out where we are. How are we doing? 0 to 4. Okay, cool. Any questions? I know this is a lot of information, but parallel lines, let's recap really quickly. Parallel lines,